Everyone has their favorite car generation. Mine is the 80s and 90s, but I'm not here to observe a museum piece. I put cars in their element. I'm Ryan Symancek, and this is RadVentures. They say you can tell a lot about a person by the car they drive. And when you see a truck as rough as this, you know there's some sort of character behind the wheel.
Oh, where is it? Where is it?
Sometimes life gets tough, and you have to hold on to the things you rely on. Like cheap overnight parking next to the cell tower, and Ford's best-selling pickup truck. I love this two-wheel drive sporty-looking truck, but if money was no object, this is really what I want to be driving. But we'll get to that. For now, I'll accept what I can afford, this $1,500 Flareside. And I'm not joking with you. I own this truck. And when I drive it, I'm brought back to my roots. See, I grew up in rural Pennsylvania, wearing Carhartts and driving old Fords. So this is basically high school all over again. Did I mention I have chores to do? First I gotta run to town, then build a fence. But after that, I promise I'm heading to the track to see that SVT Lightning.
This is the flare side. You know what that means? The flare side in the back is for downforce. It's Garth Brooks or nothing in this thing, man. Yeah, get me 3 orders of hash browns. Oh, great, thank you. Oh, heck yeah. Problem with a sport truck, there ain't no cup holders, so you either hold on to it or you put it on the dashboard. What kind of fish is a filet of fish?
It's a cod.
Oh, it's not trout? Get me one of them McRibs. All right, thank you. Those guys were on it. I just ordered $20 worth of McDonald's and they had it out in a minute. All right, getting a little more serious for the moment because I actually think these flare sides are damn cool. This is a 1992 F-150 flare side with the 5-liter V8. It's the first of the 9th generation. 1992 was the first year of the facelifted 9th generation F-150. Now in 1992, Ford was trying to appeal to a younger audience, so they brought back the flare side but with this more modernized look. The term they used was like this personal truck. It wasn't a work truck, it was a personal truck, it was a style, and it was a statement. It's actually a steel bed with fiberglass fender flares. And those fiberglass fenders are actually the exact mold of their F-350 dually. So it's literally the same thing, just shoved into an F-150 body and made to look sporty. Add a little color. This one is iris. Basically, it's pink. I mean, iris is a purple flower, but this is pink. It's a pink truck with the original silver two-tone. The owner of this thing painted the grille white. It's now like a weird spray-painted white two-tone with a black stripe. What's interesting, though, about the flare side is it was an upper-class model. This is $15,000 in 1992. And back then, the stock F-150 was around $11,000. So it's a $4,000 upgrade to get a step side and a fancy color. But all in all, this is just an F-150 with a trim package. It could still carry 1,500 pounds in the bed. It could still tow a little over 5,000 pounds. It has Ford's signature dual I-beam suspension in the front and leaf springs and a solid axle in the rear. The engine is tired. It barely gets oil pressure. It burns oil, it leaks oil, it drips oil, all the oil goes everywhere but where it should be. Now on a good day, this two-wheel drive model would get about 16 miles to the gallon. If you're really cruising it with the overdrive on. Otherwise, I'd say right about now, it gets about 8. Now, there were 3 engine options with the Fords back then. You had the inline 6-cylinder, and then you had 2 V8 options. You had the 5-liter or the 302, and then the 5.8 or the 351. The 302 was a pretty common V8, especially with the F-150s. And you know, this has some upgrades, not really too much. Everything's pretty much stock. Other than that, I mean, it's just a simple pushrod V8. So you think of German cars and stuff where everything's like shoved into a small compartment and everything's mated perfectly, and there's a reason that's there, and American engine bays don't seem to be that. It's just put the engine in, put the vacuum lines everywhere, you know, make it fit because you have so much room. I mean, this is a big engine bay, so you could just put an engine here and slap everything where you want and invent weird things like this soup can thing. I mean, it literally looks like somebody went to the grocery store and was like, well, that'll work. Now, the interiors with these, didn't matter if you're an F-250 or Ford Bronco, it's pretty much all the same. Really not much to it, just a simple plastic dash. They tried to do like a little fake aluminum trim piece. You know, I kind of wish things were still like that a little bit. This is so much more simple to look at and live with on a daily basis. This is the XLT model, which actually had like power windows and a couple more creature comforts. Had the nice fold-out armrest, which there's some dust in there. That's disgusting. This thing is a Band-Aid holding a rip in the headliner together. Somebody added this coolant temp gauge from like a semi-truck because the real one doesn't work anymore. The other thing I really like is this truck has 2 fuel tanks, and you actually get a toggle switch to toggle between the front and the rear tank. Overall, I just like it. Yes, I make fun that it's America's redneck toy, but F-150s could be anybody's truck. They're useful, they're cheap, they're simple, they're easy to work on, and they get work done.
So baby, meet me down by the rolling oak river with the dark water meets the full moonlight. If we can sneak away, maybe we could be together. Candle by stop love tonight.
I know, a Flareside isn't your contractor's pickup truck. But I'm not your contractor. I build fences like it's 5 o'clock on a Friday. Especially when I'm itching to get to the track.
Holy, there are some nice cars here. Oh damn, I can't show up to a track like this dressed the way I am. There we go.
Monticello Motor Club is any car enthusiast's dream place. But I came to see a pickup truck, which is a little bit out of the ordinary.
God, that thing is gorgeous. Listen to the sound of that. Now the SVT Lightning is kind of Ford's most misunderstood truck because the idea wasn't to make like a sport drag truck. The idea was to make a handling truck. Now in the 90s, Chevy had their 454 SS, which was their sport truck. It was basically a black short bed single cab with a big block, and that was about it. Ford wanted to compete with that. And instead of just making the same truck with a big block, they decided to one-up Chevy by making their truck handle. They added a bunch of different things. First of all, they stiffened up the frame. Now it's rumored that the beefed up frame was in fact just the 4-wheel drive frame. Ford dropped in their bigger motor, the 351 Windsor 5.8 liter V8. Now it had an aluminum drive shaft, it had a limited slip differential, and they all had automatic gearboxes. They also added thicker sway bars. Then they lowered the truck about 2 inches. They actually hired 3-time Formula One champion Jackie Stewart to do all the test driving for it and help design the handling. Come out of the corner, there's no tire squeal, there's no anything. It's completely planted. In the 3 years that they made first generation SVT Lightnings, 1993, 1994, and 1995. They only made 11,563. This one is a 1994, and in that year they only made 4,007. And I don't know how many in white, but white is the rarest color. Now this is Travis Wilson's truck. He's from Connecticut. He basically does fabrication as a hobby, but the other thing he does is upgrades, because this thing is no stock Lightning. Nope, it's not 290 horsepower anymore, it's 700. He did that by rebuilding the motor, but also adding a massive turbocharger. The other thing he added, well, he got rid of the automatic. There's no column shifter on this thing because it's got a 5-speed manual gearbox. Well, you're driving something like this with 700 horsepower and a serious turbo under the hood. You gotta know what you're doing. Don't get caught out when it boosts. And this thing absolutely boosts. This thing is the raddest pickup truck I will ever drive in my lifetime. The owner, Travis Wilson, this is his getup. So this is still the 5.8 liter.
This has never been out.
This has never been removed.
Nope. Well, I took what Ford SVT had started with their performance-based package, and I've modernized it a bit. They have a really stout rotating assembly compared to the regular 351. I put a set of modern aluminum trick flow heads on it, a modern trick flow cam. I had to keep the intake because it's iconic Lightning. That is an OEM piece. And I added some boost from a turbo. It's a
Dude, this is a massive turbo.
That is just an aftermarket turbo.
Yeah.
That is a Borg Warner S476. It's a modern twist. In the 90s, they didn't really turbo stuff. In the 2000s, they do. This has a Tremec TKO 600, more or less designed for a Mustang aftermarket to fix the T5 flaws. I put it in there because it's rated for good power. Truck's heavy, makes good power. I reinforced a couple things in the frame, not much, but I added a new set of lowering springs. I added rear shackle and hanger kit to drop it a little bit more. I added the traction bars in the back to try and tame this thing a little bit. It's got a limited slip rear. They came with a factory one, but I upgraded it again. It's a really well package. It's a blast to drive.
This has been in your family since 1994.
Yes, my uncle bought it new off the showroom floor. And I bought it from him, 11 years ago?
And when did you do all of this?
Last winter.
So this is fairly recent.
This is first season, fresh build.
Has this been on the track?
It has not.
So I just took it on the track for the first time.
You did.
Okay. I wanted to do something American. I wanted to share something about the 1990s that was really cool that nobody talks about. The Ford Lightning is really cool. And this is a unicorn because it's 100% a one-off. This thing is so completely figured out. Oh man, with a real gearbox too. That's the best part. You're shifting it, you're moving, your left foot's doing a lot of work. It's truck pedals. I mean, the shifter's on the ground. The boost gauges are on the column. I'm in like a bench seat. And the blow-off valve, I mean, what? F-150, V8, F-150, 351, Windsor motor, 5.8 liters with a huge truck turbo. Like, why? Why do you need this? This is one of the nicest vehicles I've ever driven. This might be the most collectible thing I've ever driven. I love it. Man, this thing is super unique. Performance and designed to handle lots of different bits over a stock F-150. I mean, the Flareside's cool. It's obviously an appearance package. This thing is completely performance built, but it's only one way really to decide whether all this stuff works.
Race?
You bet, brother.
I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree, got to move.
Let's get out of here. You know, for a worn out 5-liter and a big clunky automatic, yeah, sure, you could call it an appearance package, but I say that my Flareside is a sport truck. And hard on the brakes, chuck it in. Oh, it's just folding over the sidewall of the tire. Come on, Flareside, go, 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 go. To cut the corner, up on the curbing. He's in the mirror. Oh, he's coming. He's coming. Block him, block him, block him. Oh, going right, going right, go left.
This guy's out of his mind.
Oh man, that blocking is not gonna work for long. I don't think he's ready for this shortcut though. Two off. Wow! Oh my God, that thing is so fast. What the hell? Come on. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. You almost had it. Well, I guess I admit, it ain't no Lightning.